Imagine waking up one day to find that the most valuable substance in your life wasn't gold, wasn't silver, and wasn't land. It was something you sprinkle on your dinner, salt. But here is the real mystery. How did a mineral as common as table seasoning become so powerful that it funded kingdoms, sparked wars, built cities, and acted as the world's first widely recognized currency? And even stranger, why do the financial systems created from salt still influence how money works today? To understand that, we have to travel thousands of years back to a time when control over salt wasn't just wealth, it was life and death. Salt wasn't valuable because people wanted flavorful food. It was valuable because without it, you died, your muscles failed, your nerves collapsed, your body shut down. Salt was survival, and anything tied to survival becomes the foundation of power. Long before gold coins existed, early civilizations noticed a pattern. Whoever controlled salt controlled people. But what few understood then is how this natural mineral would evolve into a global economic engine, one that shaped governments, set tax systems, and built the financial architecture still used today. Our story begins near 6000 BC, when communities in China, Africa, and the Mediterranean discovered something extraordinary. Salt could preserve food. This changed everything. For the first time, humans could store meat through harsh winters, travel long distances without starvation, and maintain armies without constant supply shortages. Salt became the earliest technology that allowed societies to grow beyond their physical limits. But the real twist starts when scarcity enters the picture. Salt didn't exist everywhere. Some regions had natural salt lakes or coastal evaporation. Others had nothing. That imbalance created opportunity, and opportunity creates markets. Wherever salt was scarce, it became valuable. Wherever salt was valuable, it became money. Ancient Ethiopia carved salt blocks called monopolies, used in trade just like coins. The Roman Empire paid soldiers partly in salt, the origin of the word salary. Across the Sahara, West African kingdoms traded gold for salt in equal weight. Salt equaled gold. It sounds insane today, but back then it made perfect sense. But this is where the story takes a darker turn. The rise of salt money didn't just build economies, it built empires of control. Governments quickly realized something. If you tax what every human needs, you create guaranteed revenue. China was the first to exploit this, introducing the world's earliest state monopoly on salt almost 2,500 years ago. Control salt. Control income. Control income. Control power. Rome followed the same logic, setting up one of the earliest centralized taxation networks based around salt distribution. Salt roads were built, guarded, and strictly governed. Anyone who tried to produce, transport, or sell salt outside the official system faced brutal punishment. Salt made governments powerful, but it also made them greedy. As empires expanded, salt shifted from being a simple resource to being a financial weapon. Rulers restricted production to create artificial scarcity. They inflated prices. They used salt taxes to crush political rivals. Salt wasn't just currency anymore, it was early financial engineering, and that's when everything began to crack. By the Middle Ages, salt had become both essential and oppressive. In France, the infamous salt tax, the gabelle, became a hated symbol of government corruption. It wasn't based on supply, demand, or fairness. It was a forced tax on survival. People paid more for salt than they did for bread, and this one tax played a major role in the growing anger that eventually fueled the French Revolution. Salt, once the world's first currency, became one of the world's first examples of economic rebellion. But the breaking point was global. In India, the British Empire's salt laws banned citizens from producing their own salt. Think about that. People lived next to the ocean, yet were prohibited from evaporating their own seawater. Why? Because the British wanted the tax. Salt had become more valuable as a tool of control than as a mineral. This injustice led to one of the most iconic acts of civil disobedience in history, Gandhi's Salt March. A peaceful protest against a tax that symbolized the financial bondage of millions. What started as a simple march triggered a global awakening, and slowly, salt lost its throne. New trade routes, industrial production, and refrigeration technologies reduced salt's scarcity. Once it could be produced cheaply and abundantly, it lost its monetary power. Salt went from the world's most valuable commodity to something nearly every kitchen has today. A currency collapsed not because of war, not because of politics, but because innovation changed supply. Economies rise and fall on scarcity. When scarcity disappears, so does value. But the story isn't over, because this rise and fall of salt currency exposes a pattern repeating throughout financial history. When governments find a commodity that all citizens need, they tax it, regulate it, or monopolize it. When scarcity exists, markets depend on it. When abundance appears, the system collapses. Salt teaches us that value is never inherent, it's engineered. And now, here's the part that hits the modern world harder than most people expect. Look at today's financial systems. Money itself is no longer scarce. It's created digitally by central banks with keystrokes, but essential goods, energy, water, food supply chains, housing, those remain artificially scarce and heavily controlled. Salt was the first test version of modern monetary systems, a government-controlled necessity, a taxable survival commodity, a resource turned into currency by design, not nature, and the same architecture that ruled ancient salt economies still operates right now. Global institutions control currencies, national governments regulate. Essentials, scarcity is used to maintain order. Taxes are built around needs, not luxuries. And when a population becomes too dependent on the system that controls its resources, power concentrates at the top. Salt didn't just build the global economy, it built the blueprint for financial control. And here's the shocking part. Almost every major monetary shift follows the salt pattern. Gold, oil, data, even debt. They rise because they become essential. They get controlled because they create power. They collapse when scarcity ends or alternatives appear. Which raises the question not for this video, but for your own thinking. What is the modern salt? What essential resource today is being quietly turned into a tool of control? And how long until innovation breaks its grip, just like it did thousands of years ago? Before we end, here are the 3 core takeaways to remember. First, value is a story society agrees on. Salt was worth gold only because scarcity and survival made it so. Second, governments gain power by controlling what people cannot live without. Salt taxes were the prototype for modern economic control. And third, every system built on scarcity eventually collapses when abundance emerges. The real warning is this: history doesn't repeat, but financial systems do. If salt could rise and fall as the world's first currency, so can anything we depend on today. If you found this eye-opening, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more hidden money history, and share this with someone who still thinks money is just paper and coins. The truth is always deeper.